on my name as Godfrey, the first Elden Lord.
Okay then. So far, I'm big sucking. This guy's cool though. Swing it. Swing it. Yep. Yep.
That will be all. Thou didst me good service, Sirach.
Mm.
I've
That was
given
brutal.
thee courtesy enough. Now I fight as Horalu. Warrior!
It's kind of badass and kind of funny. Oh, what the hell? What the hell? Jesus. Yo, he turned into a Tekken character. This is badass. Okay. Oh, two of them. Stop. Dang it. Have a rock. I did not mean to do that, but whatever. I wonder if there's another phase. Oh. That guy's awesome. That's not what I was expecting, but I like that. Alright, round two, homie. Let's see what... Oh, damn. Okay, now let's see what you got. It's, it'll put me down. Jesus. That was about as bad as it could have went. Alright. Third time's the charm. Jump. Wait. I'm consistently awful at dodging today. Oh, choke slammed. Dude, this guy, I'm a big fan. Big fan of Lion Boy here turning into a pro wrestler. Damn it. Damn it. No. Please quit picking on me. No. I do the same thing every time. Alright. Alright. Okay. No messing this time. No, I said no messing. I actually really like this whole fight. This phase right here is really dope. Okay. Oh, holy shit. Why are you so close? Okay. Okay, dodge at the right time. That's not the right time. Jump. One more.
Brave, tarnished, thy strength befits a crown.
After millennia, those 5, 6, 7 tries felt like nothing. I like that guy though. Alright. I haven't been past this point. I've been sitting here wondering what lies ahead, whether it's going to be something straightforward like Dark Souls 1 to end this, or whether it's going to be something wild like in Demon Souls or Bloodborne. Very curious to see which direction they go with the ending, although I'm already prepared to just be confused and not know what the hell's going on. The only thing that I'm thinking right now is if this can be used to mend the shattered Elden Ring, which is what you get at the end of Fia's quest. This seems like something that I can use at the end of the game. And if that ends up being the case, I think that's what I'll choose. So very interested to see how that's going to play out and what I'm going to run into. It's looking like another boss fight. Kind of a remix of the intro theme. I'm digging that. Oh man. Radagon. Okay. He's Melania and Millicent's dad, I think. It's a good thing that I have equipped myself with the strongest thing that I have. And activate. And activate. Radagon of the Golden Order. Okay. Alright, I'm ready now. I didn't know I was going into a boss fight. And I realized that I had put this Ash Vor on my side, but now I've got to try it. Now I've got to actually make an attempt like this. Okay, it's doable. I just need to be slightly less reckless with it. I don't know, maybe just full reckless is the way to go. This actually seems like a pretty fun boss fight, so after this one I'm definitely going to re-roll it and do it seriously. Oh, that was cool. Yeah, that was real cool. Okay, I think you win. I think you win. Alright, now let's get serious. Let's do it legit. Oh, there's the end of the world, man. Okay, good range. Man, you're so good at catching the very end of that. Dang, that was brutal. No, I missed it. No, I didn't. Okay, we are tending towards some wildness now. The music is excellent though. What in the hell? What is this dildo, man? That's a giant dildo creature. Oh, you got some. Yeah, we got Bloodborne style cosmic nonsense. Elden Beast. Oh, this is cool though. That effect was dope. It's a cosmic transparent Loch Ness monster. That's what it is. Okay. Wow. All right then. Well, I know what I have to deal with now. I definitely gotta figure out what to do about his giant AoEs. I'm at the end of the world. Yeah, that was bad. If I just be patient though, this first phase is not. I should not get too stuck on this first phase. Maybe dodging forward out of that. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm alive. Okay, I'm not sure what my tactic should be here. Definitely need to do this. Probably should rebuff there. Let's try sticking close. Jeez, man. I can't see what the hell's going on. Sticking close might not be the thing. That's pretty badass. I liked that. Whoa. I don't have a damn clue what's going on. Oof. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. This is absolute nonsense. Holy shit. Maybe sticking close is the right thing, but I think it's a easier said than done kind of deal. That's wild, man. That's a lot of stuff that I'm having a hard time processing. Yeah, dodging forward is the way there. I don't know about this though. I don't know, maybe I need to jump that? Nope. Yeah, not sure how you avoid that. I'm done. It's over. Alright, buffing before I go in this time. I'm just gonna keep doing the stagger method with the Flame of the Red Mains. No reason to mix that up, it seems. I need to work on not getting hit though in this first phase. Maybe just try for one of these and then get out. I don't know what to do here. Oh, it sends it out in lines. I'm learning a little bit though. Jesus, man. Okay, dodge sideways, and dodge sideways. Perfect. Sideways dodge is where it's at. Oh, that was just late. Oh, damn, I forgot about the AoE. This is not it. This ain't the one, boys. This ain't the one. I'm giving up. But I can at least see how this strategy is going to work out. Let's see. Swap to this. Yeah, I got no heals. Okay. Jesus, man. I have no idea what's going on. And we begin the nonsense. Okay, maybe you just gotta get all the way out of this. Looks like it. Okay, that's very reminiscent of that thing from Sekiro, the divine, forgot what it's called. Alright, so my damage wasn't great there, but I mean, obviously with Bloodhound Step, it's more survivable, just like everything else with everything else in the game is. Bloodhound Step's kind of ridiculous. Okay, I think I got my strats down. Just gotta be smooth in the first phase. Can't get hit too much. I'm gonna switch back out to my God Slayers because it's gonna be my highest crit damage. Hit this up. Hit this up. And then the second phase is just gonna be an endurance battle. Okay, I got that though. So that's good news. What? No way. You. Okay. Okay, not awful, not great. Okay, I gotta switch out. I need to make sure. Nope, nope. Jesus, man. It's just too much stuff. There's too much stuff going on. I'll take that trade. I will take that trade. Not that though. That was a bad job. 1, 2, 3. Boom. No. That one wasn't cool. I got this though. I got this though. Oh shit. Quit making me suck. You're doing it. It's not me. You're making me suck. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm not even healing. I'm not even healing. Okay, I'm feeling good now. I'm feeling good. There's no real reason to feel good, but I'm feeling good anyway. One of these come at me. He did. He did come at me. 2 of these. 3 of these. Probably should heal. One of these, 2 of these. Three of these. Oh my god. What am I doing? That was risky. It almost paid off, but not quite. Heal up. Rebuff. All the buffs. Don't think I got that one off. Switch weapons. Yep. Okay. That was too much stuff. That was too much stuff to... Ah, that was not good. None of that was good. Can I get on my horse? Nope. I can get punished for trying though. Haven't decided yet whether lock on is a good move with this guy or not. I'm just trying to stick with him. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Jesus, he just keeps... No, don't. Oh, I got squirrely there at the end. I thought I was gonna choke. I think that was only like three. That was only like 3 or maybe 4 times that I saw the Elden Ring. The Elden Beast summon. Oh, okay. All right. I gotta take a breather. Gotta take a breather before I do anything. I don't know if I want to touch this. I don't know what any touch grays. I'm assuming this isn't anything. Okay. Let me see what I have here. Summon Ranny. Touch Fractured Marika. America, I think is how that's pronounced. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. I'm afraid to touch the grace. Okay, surely it doesn't. Okay. I was afraid it was gonna do something. I was afraid touching the grace was an ending option. Fractured America. Okay. So it looks like I only have two options. Summon Ranny or touch Fractured America. America, whatever. Let me read this thing one more time. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any options for that. But I'm assuming that this is not gonna take. I'm gonna see what this does. Okay. Mend the Elden Ring. Use Mending Rune of the Death Prince. That's what I want. That's it.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall the age of the Duskborn.
Well, I guess I feel the way I expected to feel. A little flabbergasted, confused, questioning everything about this game and my own existence. I gotta be honest, I was expecting something a little more clearly tied to Fia in that ending there. And if it was there, it was either too cryptic or I'm too dumb to understand it. But outside of that, those final bosses, not disappointed in at all. I thought Radagon was awesome. Elden Beast, my favorite part was the arena and just like the spectacle of it. The arena, I don't remember if I said this, but it immediately made me think of the Hunter's Dream with the trees in the distance, which makes me think of Ash Lake in Dark Souls 1, so that was all awesome. The water and the reflections and all the particle effects and all the different attacks he had visually very cool. So yeah, no complaints on the last couple of bosses. I think that, let me check this. There seems to be a lot of strength, dex, faith weapons. There's 2 more, which is nice for the build I got going, but okay, I think I'm going to take a second and make a couple quick bullet point lists of like favorite bosses, maybe top 5, a couple of my favorite areas. I'm going to think just a little bit about it and get my thoughts together on my first journey, which was over 160 hours. I think it was about 180. That includes some co-op, so it includes going through a couple areas twice, once in my world and once in my buddy's world. So there was a little extra time there, but still I put a lot of time into this game. So yeah, I'll be right back with some final thoughts. Okay, I've taken about 10 minutes to just get some thoughts together. And while I sit here comfortably, tri-sword butthole, I will tell you what those thoughts are to the best of my ability. We'll go like big picture thoughts first. So if I would have done this post-game commentary wrap-up thing just a few weeks ago, there would have been a lot of negative vibes in it. But I'm happy to say that after thinking a lot about it, that most of the negative feelings I had were just due to my own preferences and the way I play the game, and probably spending a little too much time doing certain things over other things. It all kind of boils down to me, so there's very little that I can fault about the game for giving me the feelings I had. But the main thing, and I've thought a lot about this, the main thing that kind of turned the thought of turning this game on and playing into a chore for a while was that I can't stand the thought of unfinished business. So when I play a game, what I like to do is meticulously go through areas. Once I feel like I've completely explored an area, you know, then I have peace of mind. I can kind of mentally check it off. I move on. I like to take notes when I play games and just like, you know, kind of go through things in a structured order. And it's just, for me, it's very rewarding to do that. This game was so hard to do that in. I started taking notes at first, like I have with all the From Software games, and then like most games I play, and very quickly I just gave up because there was just too much. It was too much of everything. And at first, I'd say the first like 50 hours, up to the point where I finally went into Stormvale, was wonderful because I didn't really care that I wasn't like meticulously going through everything. I kind of threw my notes to the side, just quit worrying about it, and everything was just pure wonder. Everything was just fun exploration. Everything was so foreign and dangerous, and everywhere you looked you could go, and I just explored everywhere. And you know, Limgrave, Caelid, Liurnia, all that, just wherever, kind of with reckless abandon, because I knew eventually I would come back to Limgrave and I would check my list off. I would start like hitting zones and clearing them completely, right? And then eventually I realized, well, I probably need to go to like the first main, you know, castle or whatever, Stormvale, where it's leading me, because I'm going to be over leveled if I don't. When did Stormvale? Stormvale was really cool. And then after Stormvale is when I was thinking, okay, in my mind, I was thinking, I need to go back to Limgrave now and clear anything that I didn't clear. But then it kind of seemed silly to do that at that point. And from basically that point on, I never lost that feeling of like, you still haven't even cleared the first area. And I kept moving, and I ended up going up to Altus Plateau, over to Volcano Manor. By the time I got to the capital, it was just a growing feeling of like, you've done so much, You've put so much time into this game, and there's still so much that you haven't done because nothing felt done. Nothing at that point. Like I still felt like at any time when I had 100 hours in the game, I knew that I could go back to Limgrave and find things that I had not found. At least I had that feeling. And that feeling just kind of wore me down and made it to the point where I was like, I did not feel like I had completed the first half of the game. Now, again, that's me. That's a me thing. I couldn't turn it off. At about 60 hours into the game, I started saying, both to myself and to some friends, that I was just going to forget about going into every dungeon and getting every item, and I was just going to start chasing the main story, hitting whatever NPC quests that I found along the way, and not worrying about anything that I missed, because I would pick it up in a second or third playthrough, whatever. And if I could have stuck to that, if I would have had the discipline to actually listen to my own advice and stuck to that, I don't think I would have hit that point where I got worn out, and I think I would have been able to finish out the game in a much more, I guess, peaceful way, without as much mental turmoil, at least. Now I'll go ahead and get my only other critique out of the way, and this one is not as much of a me thing. I actually think this is a legitimate critique. This game, in my opinion, would be better if 20 to 30% of every aspect of it, except the map, the world itself, was just removed. Remove 20% of dungeons, remove 20% of bosses, remove 20% of items. Across the board, take every part of the game, spells and incantations, weapons. Like, if everything in the game, every different type of thing that's, like I said, outside of the world itself, because it was perfect and wonderful. Everything else in the game, cut it by a fifth, the game is better for it, in my opinion. I don't mind repeated bosses, but it's sad to me that some of the really, really cool enemies, being repeated as much as some things were, takes away the novelty and like the awe factor of the bosses and the enemies. I think the Godskin Apostle is a example that comes to mind like first. I thought that was such a cool fight when I ran into him in Altus Plateau. I was under-leveled for him. He kicked my ass all over the place, but I thought he was the coolest. And then I saw him again, and then I saw him again, and then, it's like, at some point, it loses the uniqueness, obviously, when you keep repeating it, especially when it didn't really feel like it served much of a purpose. So I just think it didn't do the game any favors. I feel like they tried to fill the game because it's so massive with repeated bosses, but they didn't have to. They could have just left it a little more empty. And I know there's like this critique that almost everyone has about open world games where they say like certain areas are too empty. I feel like that's in every like commentary of every open world game ever, is like certain areas have felt a little empty or whatever. And I feel like they seem to go like to the point where they're like, no one is going to say that about this game ever. No, one critique that no one will ever have is that our game is too empty. So they packed it damn full of everything. And to wrap up this point, I do feel like it was at a detriment to how insanely good the world is, the terrain is, the level design of the like overworld. It's incredible. It absolutely transcends video games and goes into work of art status. And if I could make a mod, it would be a mod that like removes everything in the game. It just removes all dungeons and all enemies and basically turns it into a walking simulator. Something along the lines of like Dear Esther or like Journey, and you would just walk or ride your horse throughout the lands between and just take in the sights, man. That would be, obviously it wouldn't be as cool as this game, but it would be very cool to be able to do that. There were times when I wished I could just explore and take in the world, but and maybe I will be able to on follow-up playthroughs. But there was just so much all the time. There was just so much. Like all the plants on the ground, the items, enemies, dungeons, things showing me where a dungeon is, some little lore piece. There was just so much to capture my attention. So all those things were just little like constant inputs. And I just wanted to go back to that like early exploration where I didn't even know what anything was and I was just exploring. And once I kind of found the patterns of the game, I feel like those things started becoming more of a nuisance than fun. And so I wish, and maybe on follow-up playthroughs I will be able to just enjoy the world more, just enjoy the vistas and exploring again the absolutely ridiculously awesome landscapes and maps and skies and all the flora and dude, the world in this game is incredible. The art design, everything about it. So yeah, exploration was my favorite part, and also the part that ended up kind of breaking me and making me think, I don't know if I want to finish this game. It's just like, it's too much, man. I couldn't turn my brain off is like the bottom line, is I could not turn my own internal thing in me that says, you've got to find everything, you've got to check your list off, you've got to like section out your map and clear every inch of it. I couldn't turn that off, and so the more I explored and the bigger the map got, the more overwhelmed I felt, to the point where I was just like kind of lost motivation to play for a little while. But anyway, that makes me feel like a bitch. It is what it is. That's how I felt. I'm over it now. I understand kind of, where my mistakes were, and I should have done better at adapting to the game instead of kind of playing the way that I've always played every other game, because this game is different. It's different than the other Souls games, and I should have picked up on that quicker and adjusted my own mentality to it, I think, and I would have enjoyed the game more. But I also think that it would be a better game if a bunch of the stuff that distracted me from the really good parts of the game was just cut out. Both of those things are true, I think. Alright, so now I've got some lists. Top 5 bosses in no particular order. Godfrey, Orlu. Loved it. Radon. Radagon. Elmer of the Briar. And the fifth one was hard. Commander Nile is what I'm going to go with in Castle Soul. Dude with the prosthetic, the lightning prosthetic. He actually is very, very cool, I think. So yeah, Godfrey, Radon, Radagon, Elmer, Commander Nile. That's what I'm going with, my favorite enemies. Notables, for one reason or the other, I've got the Burial Watchdog and Margit, and only because I think that if you take the Burial Watchdog, other than the dude on the horse, the Burial Watchdog is kind of the first like minor boss that you run into. I actually really like those like souvenir cat kind of things. I thought the first one was awesome. I mean, they're not hard, but they have a very odd kind of creepy way of moving, and I thought that first one was the perfect kind of like welcome to Elden Ring boss. So yeah, him, and then I've got Margit for a lot of the same reasons. If you kind of go the intended route, he's the first major boss, and I thought he was an excellent major boss. Cool presentation, not too difficult of a fight, but very fun. So Burial Watchdog, Margit, two excellent introductory bosses, I thought. Electo, Black Knife Ringleader, was probably third in what took me the most attempts in the game. Millennia was first by probably 5 times. Like I probably took 5 times more attempts on her than whatever was second. And second was a toss-up between about 3 different things, and one of those things is Electo, the Black Knife ringleader. And it may be because of how I was fighting him or her. I think it was a girl. I don't know. But I know when I finally won, I was real stoked about it, and I felt like I had earned it. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of things in the game like that. And again, that's a little bit my own fault too, because I fell into the pattern of just seeing what Ash of War would melt the bosses quickest, and kind of just resorted to that because I don't know, it just seemed like it made the most sense. I mean, you know, at base, games are puzzle solvers, at least to me. That's kind of how everything is a problem to be solved. And so when you walk into a boss room, it's like, how can I solve this problem in the most efficient way? And 9 times out of 10 in this game, that was some Ash of War that you could spam that would just melt them. And again, I'm sure repeat playthroughs and fighting things in different styles may, give me completely different perspective on a lot of the bosses. If I haven't said this already, I have a firm belief that From Software games can't be reviewed on one playthrough, even if it's 200 hours long. Doesn't matter. You've got to do repeat playthroughs. So, I don't even trust my own judgments that much because I've just been through it one time, and it takes some repetition. It takes really, getting into the nooks and crannies of everything and understanding how everything works in relation to each other, and playing with different builds. And you really have to kind of experience the From Software games from all angles before you can get a full picture on it. So, I'm aware of that. All right. Crucible Knights was my other one. I've mentioned that a few different times, but I love the Crucible Knights. I enjoyed fighting every single one of them. Love them. Favorite enemy. Okay. Favorite areas, and then I think I'll quit. I've already talked for longer than I meant to. Sophria, Noxtella, Nokron, that whole underground area under Caelid, probably my favorite. I liked, obviously visually it looked really cool. I'd probably cheat and put Mohg's Dynasty in there as well, because I loved how that was one of the unfinished business things I had in the back of my head of like, what is that building in the distance that I could see from Sophria River? And I didn't find it until the end of the game, at Mohg's Palace, and you defeat him, and then you look down and you're like, yep, I already kind of thought it. I was pretty sure that I was there. And then when I looked down from the back of Mohg's boss room, I was like, yep, and it was a very cool moment. So that whole underground area, I loved Noxtella and Nokron. I just liked the vibes there. Deep-Root Depths was really cool. And then as far as like the bigger areas, Mount Gelmer and Volcano Manor, I thought the terrain and the way that those were set up and everything about that was very, very cool. And then probably my favorite just landmass or like larger area is just all of Liurnia. The way Liurnia is laid out with that like big lake in the middle, and then the cliffs on the left side, and then the cliffs on the right side that have kind of their own flavor. That whole area is just kind of mind-blowing, and how it all comes together, and the feeling that I had exploring it. And then Raya Lucaria has some of the best vistas in the game, like within the academy itself. I think I might just think that because there was one area that really made me think of the Upper Cathedral in Bloodborne, and I liked it a lot. But I do think that Liurnia was exceptionally beautiful in an exceptionally beautiful game. So, that was my tops. It had a very cool blend of being like melancholy and a little like mysterious and creepy, but also being beautiful. I think it pulled it off like as well as you could pull that off. Okay, time for my final thought of my final thoughts. This very well may be the best game ever created, but for me personally, it would not be tops on my From Software list. That would be Dark Souls 1, and that's going to be real hard to dethrone. That game is just special to me. Then behind that would be Bloodborne, because I think it's probably the best From Software game there is as a total package, which kind of by default makes it the best game that's ever been made. So, Dark Souls 1 is my favorite. Bloodborne is the best. And then it would be a tie between Dark Souls 3. No, I would put Dark Souls 3 third for my personal favorite. And then this game would be tied for fourth with Demon Souls. And then for me, Sekiro and Dark Souls 2 would be tied for fifth. And then every other game that's ever been made would be below all of those, including Dark Souls 2. I love something different about every one of the games. I actually, for whatever reason, recently have been wanting to play Dark Souls 2 a lot, so I'm not a Dark Souls 2 hater. I actually really want to play through all the From Software games now to see how my perspective has changed on them after playing Elden Ring. I'm afraid that there's going to be things in the older games that are going to annoy the hell out of me now because of the quality of life things that were added in Elden Ring. But we'll see. I'll take any excuse that I can get to play From Software games again. That's it. I appreciate anyone who watched any part of this. To my friends, I love you guys. And hopefully I will see everybody in the next series that I decide to record. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I said something that was really dumb or wrong, or if you agreed with what I said, or if you hate me and everything I stand for and you hope I never make a video again. Let me know. I can take it. I'm a grown man. Love you. I'm out.